I want you to watch this exchange between a reporter and a White House and the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. I'm curious what you think of it. Watch this.
So it was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Is Jeff Bezos still a Trump supporter?
Look, I will not speak to the president's relationships with Jeff Bezos, but I will tell you that this is certainly a hostile and political action by Amazon. And Secretary, if you have anything to add.
Okay. So let's break this down a little bit. So she's saying that this is a hostile political act, that Amazon is going to be showcasing the tariff price next to the product. So if you're paying $100 for a product and the tariff on it is, let's say 100%, which I know Trump said he's going to be lowering that on China. It's not going to be 148% or 146% like they originally announced. It's going to be much lower than that. But let's say it's 100%. So you pay $100 but you see the price, and the price is actually $200. So you see the breakdown that Amazon will have, which is the item costs $100 and the tariff is $100. So the administration is calling this a hostile political act. But let's break this down a little bit. And the comparison that Caroline Leavitt used was inflation, that those that were selling goods did not list the inflation prices next to their goods. Okay, so for one, that's not a good comparison because the government doesn't take the inflation cost, right? That's not a tax that the government collects. I like to know how much of my money is actually going to the government. That's what taxes are. I like to see what the tax is on anything that I purchase because I want to know how much is the government sucking out of us when I purchase something. So if I buy something for $100, how much is the government getting? I like to know that. I like to know how much is going to the actual person that I'm buying from, and I like to know how much the government is taking like a succubus. So tariffs, unlike inflation, tariffs actually go to the government. This is money that the government is actually collecting. Now, the question is who has to pay the tariff? The tariff is actually levied on whoever imported the good. So it's actually supposed to be the seller. So the person selling you the $100 good is actually the one who's supposed to pay the $100 tariff. But of course, sellers are never going to eat the cost on their own. They're going to instead pass that cost on to the customer. Maybe they'll eat some of it if they have enough profits that they can eat into. But if they don't, especially a small mom and pop shop that's barely surviving, they're going to pass the tariff on to you. So it is fair for them to show you, look, this product only costs $100, but the government has levied this tariff of 100% on it. So $100 is going to go to the government. So I need to charge you $200, but I'm not getting that $200. It's not like I'm being greedy and suddenly I've just jacked up the price of my goods. I didn't jack up the price. The government did, and I don't even get to keep the money. The government takes that from me. So that is government money. I like to see that personally. Inflation is totally different. For example, the cost of eggs when they got up to $10 a dozen or $12 a dozen. It was really ridiculous during the eggflation crisis. What caused the eggflation crisis was a lack of supply. There was the demand. People still wanted to eat eggs. The supply was down. Why was supply down? Well, they did this stupid thing where they started culling all of the chickens because of the bird flu. So yeah, it was really dumb. They didn't really need to do that, but they did. So the farmers were culling their chickens. They didn't have enough chickens. They didn't have enough eggs. But the demand was still there. So if you wanted eggs, you were just going to have to pay a fortune for it. Who made that money? The actual egg seller made the money. The problem was, and the reason why there was inflation is because the egg seller just had fewer eggs to sell, but still wanted to make the same amount of money. So the egg seller just charged you double because there was now only half the supply of eggs, but all of you still want to buy it. And they figure, well, whoever has the money and can afford it will still be able to eat eggs. The rest of you will be not eating eggs. That's inflation. But that inflation cost of the eggs going from $6 a dozen to $12 a dozen, the government doesn't take that extra $6 off of your egg carton. So there's no need to list that. That money's going to the seller. You could complain at the seller and say, you guys are a big profitable company. You don't need to raise the price of eggs this much. You guys are just price gouging during a crisis or something. You could certainly make that argument, and you could point the finger and put all the blame on the company. And that's what you should do in those cases. You should be blaming wherever the blame should lie. And with the tariffs, it is not fair to see the prices hike as if it's inflation and the sellers to not be able to tell you, it's not our fault. We're not doing this because of inflation. We're not doing this because of a lack of supply. We're doing this because in order to bring the goods in from China or from wherever, we're being taxed by the government in the form of something called a tariff, and we are passing that tax on to you. You're going to pay that tax for us because you're the consumer who wants the product. That's what they're doing. So I actually think it's quite fair that Amazon is going to be listing the price. I'm seeing online, there's a lot of, oh, how dare, this is a political move. This is insane. This is, Amazon being hyper political and this shouldn't be happening. But in the reality of it is that you would be pissed off if you didn't get to see what tax you were being charged. When you buy something, you see that tax, you see the sales tax. You want to know, what is the government taking from you? That's what the tariff is. I think it's fair. I don't mind this. I actually think it's good. That way it does put the pressure on the government. It holds them accountable. Hey, you're adding all these tariffs and we're paying the price as a consumer. What is the plan here? Why are we doing this? Are we doing this because we're ramping up manufacturing or not? Is there an alternative? So that way also, and you could look at that. If there's a product and you see this $100 tariff lobbed on it, you might say, you know what? I think there is an American company that sells this exact product. So I'm going to go and buy American. That just gives you transparency. You should see that and know that. That way you can make an informed decision about whether or not you want to buy from that Chinese made good, or if you want to buy, if you can find an American made good. You might look around and say there are no American made goods in this category and I'm stuck with the tariff. And then you might get really pissed off at the administration and say, well, you should have at least had a plan to build this or manufacture this here in the United States before you started lobbing tariffs and taxes on all of us. But that's the accountability is there because of the transparency. So I'm in favor of this. I think it's a good thing. I don't think this is a political move. I think that it's the right thing to keep consumers informed. And I don't want to be living in a world where, we just play politics and I'm not told why my prices are going up. I like to know why they're going up. Whether or not there's anything I can do about it or whether I care, that's up to me to decide. But I like to know, and I certainly don't want the government pulling political punches in order to halt the transparency that I think we all deserve. You're going to think I'm describing weight loss injections, but I'm not. These remarkable weight loss testimonials came from a doctor-formulated weight loss supplement called Lean. Patty S. said, I've finally found a weight loss product that works. I wanted to lose 20 pounds and Lean really curbs my appetite. Lori M. wrote, I've struggled to get weight off and Lean has been a lifesaver. I've been losing a couple of pounds a week or more. And Kelly F. said, amazing. I immediately noticed an energy boost and a healthy weight loss in weight. I would promote this product to anyone. Lean was created by a doctor and university researcher to target the goals of GLP-1s, but without the injections. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower blood sugar, radically reduce appetite, and burn fat by converting it into energy. So if you're struggling to lose weight and healthy diet and exercise isn't enough, then Lean is for you. So let's get you started with 20% off. Just use code KIM20 at takelean.com. That's code KIM20 at takelean.com. Again, takelean.com. Results vary. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease and are not substitute for care from a healthcare provider. Hey guys, thanks for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson show. You can catch the full show Monday through Friday. It is live streamed for about an hour. It is completely free to watch. Just go to KimIversonShow.com. That is where you'll catch the full show. Again, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.